Day 5 now since a massive earthquake struck this region, and here in the city of Concepcion, there seems to be progress. There was peace overnight. No looting, none of the fires to building we've seen in recent days. I was out on the streets in the very early morning hours. It was completely dark, the streets virtually empty, except for the military, who set up checkpoints at almost every other block, monitoring to make sure no one was out causing harm. Now, that progress may not be shared by some of the smaller towns in and around this region, in and around the quake epicenter. We're now hearing reports that perhaps bands of looters that struck here in Concepcion are now targeting those smaller towns, and those smaller towns don't necessarily have the protection they need. All of this has now led to new criticism of the Chilean government. President Michelle Bachelet, who leaves office here on March 11th, pledged in the early days after the quake that her government could handle the needs of this country following a massive disaster. She was slow to ask for international aid. However, now the government is facing criticism, not only from its people, but from the media here for their lack of response, for their lack of ability to maintain security across the region, and for the lack of supplies, vital supplies, food, water that people need here that are just not reaching them in a timely fashion. What's unclear is how the government will move forward here. They've definitely made security here in Concepcion a high priority. But if the supply chains don't begin flowing, and they don't begin flowing quickly, the same kind of desperation that forced people to basically ravage this city with looting will force them to go to other cities and force them to find ways to get what they need to survive. In the days that we've been here, we have seen very little, I should say, aid coming to people here in Concepcion. The case in the smaller towns and villages closer to the shoreline in this country is likely only worse. Jason Bronis, The Associated Press, Concepcion, Chile.